What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Execration. And in this week's lesson, we're going to check out 3 tips for drop D tuning. All right? So if you want to follow along, download the PDF or Guitar Pro, the tabs. You can find that down in the description below. And let's jump right in, all right? And we're going to start with a bonus tip. I know we usually put bonus tips at the end of all the tips, but you know what? This one's for my beginners out there, and you're curious about drop D tuning. What drop D tuning is, we take our lowest string and we drop it down one step. It's E, E, and we drop it down one step. Like that, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna detune this. I want to play this against our 4th string, starting from the high string up. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's our D string. So we actually have that pitch. Now, let's put on our critical listening ears for a second and let's hear those 2 notes. Can you hear the wobble, the clash, the oscillation of the frequencies going like this? Good. Hear it? All of a sudden it goes away. Drop D, everybody. Welcome to the land of drop D tuning. First tip that leads us right into power chords, okay? Power chords in drop D tuning are very easy to play. For beginner students out there, those power chords can be a little bit of a stretch in the lower frets between the 1st and 3rd finger, so this puts power chords on 1 fret, 1 finger, right? I could play 3, 3, 3. And that works all the way up and down, from open all the way up, okay? So the tip for the power chord playing is take a look at scales. It doesn't matter which one, whatever is kind of molds or fits your playing, right? We can look at the pentatonic scale. We can look at the minor scale, the major scale. We can look at small scale fragments, all right? However you want to do it, I would practice moving horizontally with your power chords, okay? Let's just take a minor scale, a small portion of the minor scale, all right? And we can call that a fragment, a scale fragment. And we're basically going to play open, 2, 3, and 5. Those are the first 4 notes of a minor scale. Okay? Just to get used to how that sounds. Now, as we work on our right hand and our palm muting and just getting comfortable moving horizontally, we can also get used to how the scale resolves, right? And what notes kind of push and pull, as well as work on some rhythm stuff, okay? Bonus tips all over this lesson, guys, all over it, okay? But my point is, just chug away on these notes. Very simple stuff. Okay? And then once that gets comfortable, you start learning the sound of that. You can kind of maybe sequence further up the scale and find all of those notes. And now you're kind of just chugging between. Right? Just that scale. And now you can create ideas from that. You're moving horizontally. You're working on your rhythm. Okay? Like I said, you can do this with other things too. You can do the pentatonic scale, right? Minor pentatonic is very comfortable and familiar, and one of the first things we go to as rock guitar players. So why not play it horizontally rather than getting stuck in a box vertically, right? So we can go 0, 3, 5, 7, 10, 12. So now I can. Right, same idea as the scale or the scale fragment ideas, right? We're just playing with the scale. Lots of fun there. Riffs for days, grooves for days, lots of things that you can focus on. Right hand technique, right hand picking, palm muting, rhythm, things of that nature, all right? So let's move on to tip number 2, okay? One of the things that, especially for rock guitar players, metal guitar players, one of the things we tend to neglect early on in our playing is very simple, basic triads. And I would explore, since we're in a drop D tuning, using the low note as a way to create a backdrop, right? We're painting our canvas black or green or red. It's not just a plain white canvas. We're giving ourselves something to play over. So exploring simple D minor triads all over the fretboard to create new chords or harmonic ideas. Let me show you what I'm talking about. If we just look at our first 3 strings, right, our string set, and we look at the D minor chords, triads, found on those strings, right? We start down here in first position, starting from the 3rd string to the high string, 2, 3, 1. Moving in the 5th position, it's 7, 6, 5. And then moving in the 10th position, it's 10, 10, 10. Right? So how do those chords sound with just your low power chord underneath it? I think that sounds great, and that's a great way to come up with new chords, right? Many of us learn back to our pentatonic scale. If we're in 10th position, our pentatonic scale right? We can come here. So once we familiarize ourselves to where those chords are on our fretboard, now we can explore them as ideas and chords of that nature. So it kind of gets us out of the power chord range, and it has us searching for kind of larger, fuller chords or interesting chord voicings, right? I can take that 5, 6, 7 little D minor chord in 5th position. Well, you know, slight variation. Just take off your first finger there and play open. That's a very emotional chord. There's a lot tied up in there. It sounds really good. All right? And then once you get comfortable with that and, you know, further steps, you can look at other triads that are found related to that key, and you can start connecting chord ideas. Just fun ideas like that you can explore and come up with different chords, right? I love harmonizing. Moving on to tip number 3, all right? This is gonna tie into the very first tip when we were looking at power chords and scale fragments, okay? One thing that you should do is learn where all your root notes are, all right? We tend to do that in the metal world, in the thrash world, in the rock world. All our riffs tend to be based off of our root and chugging and our, right? So we can do the same thing here, right? So our root note is on now, instead of 7, it's now on 5. So 5. Find your octaves. Find where all your Ds are, and then apply some of the scale fragments you know to them for riffs, all right? And then we can put some simple open note chugs in between them for riff writing purposes, right? So let's say we're gonna do our minor scale fragment. We learned that earlier that was 0, 2, 3. So if I put here, this is now my open, so I need a whole step because it's 0, 2, and then a half step to 3. Okay. Right? Ideas like that. Now let's say we want to explore some of the other modes or some of their characteristics, or we want to make the minor scale sound darker. If we know what notes to change from the minor to say Phrygian, it's only one note difference in that fragment. So if a minor is, we're going to take that second note and drop it down, so now we have a half step between the root, and it sounds like this. Stuff like that, and then you can apply the same idea. I don't know, guys, I'm just making some stuff here. Riff writing using the scale fragments and some open string chugs. There you guys go. 3 tips for drop D tuning. I hope you guys found that useful. If there's anything else that you guys like to explore in drop D tuning, let me know down in the comments below. As I said earlier, if you want the tabs, PDF or Guitar Pro, down in the description below, you can find the links for that. If you're new to the channel and you like what's going on, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, because we do this weekly. So as always, please let me know what you come up with. And until then, I'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.